Hello, hey guys. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what happened when this language enthusiast came here to Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And what actually happened was that after just 2 days, just 2 days in here visiting, I actually had people saying to me, "Wow, your Dutch is so good. The way you speak Dutch is you actually speak better than the other English speakers who live here." And I was just thinking to myself, wow, like how low has the bar been set that after just 2 days living here, I now speak better Dutch than some of the other expats who are living here. And by the way, I'm just here for the weekend, just visiting really. And basically, the way that I learned Dutch is that a couple of days before I actually flew out here to the Netherlands, I just learned a few basic phrases. And I didn't learn as many as I wanted to because I was quite busy at the time. And what I just did was whenever I had 5 minutes spare, I would just like quickly just try to learn a few phrases that I could. And didn't really have that much time. So after a couple of days, I knew a few phrases, but that was enough. That was enough to give me a good foundation so that when I came here, I could then start picking up more words, learning more phrases, learning new vocabulary. And for example, one of the first phrases that I learned is "Wat is dit?" So "dit" is the Dutch word for this. So when you say "Wat is dit?", basically you're just asking what is this in Dutch. And it seems like a really basic phrase, but once you get used to saying this kind of phrase and you're saying this out loud, it makes it so much easier for you to start learning new words and new phrases in that language. And for example, one of the first words that I learned when I came here to the Netherlands was the word for water, which is water, water. So that's how they say water here in the Netherlands. And it was actually really easy for me to learn this word because one, it sounds like water in English, and two, the vata, the sound, it sounds a lot like vat, as in vat is this. And because I already knew how to say vat, it was easy for me to know how to actually say vata. And from there, I could then say, "Oh, is dit water?" Saying, "Is this water?" So now I'm actually starting to make my own sentences. I'm starting to create sentences, and I'm asking people what I want to know. And that's the biggest thing when you're learning any language, is to actually get to that stage where you're actually making your own sentences and conveying the things that you want to say, the things that you want to ask people. And after that, I think another really good phrase to learn is dit lekker? Because lekker, it means delicious, as in when you're talking about food. So if you want to say, "Is this delicious?" Because obviously when I'm traveling, I want to eat the most delicious things in that place that I'm traveling in. So is dit lekker? Basically saying, "Is this delicious?" So eten is the Dutch word for food. So lekker eten is delicious food. So basically, just by learning a few phrases, you start to actually open up a gateway into that language. So, for example, just because I know how to ask those two questions, I can start to substitute different words into there and start creating my own sentences. And if just by learning those two phrases, I now have those two gateways to start opening up and adding new words, playing around with the phrases, the questions, and creating lots of new sentences for myself. If I can just do that with 2 phrases, then imagine what you could do with 3 phrases, 4 phrases, 5 phrases, and it just multiplies. The more phrases you learn, and the more you learn how to actually convert those phrases to express what you want to say, the faster you just learn. And yeah, so basically, the other thing is as well is you want to talk to as many people as you can, and a good way to start a conversation is if you say things like good morning, which is goedemorgen in Dutch. If you want to say good afternoon, it's goedemiddag or goedemiddag. And if you want to say good evening, it's goedenavond. And basically that sound is how they say G. That's how they pronounce the G in Dutch. I don't know why, but G sounds like in Dutch. And when you say these phrases, when you're saying things like goedemorgen, like which is good morning, what's going to happen is that one, the Dutch people will say, wow, this person is really making an effort to try and learn our language. So they'll be really receptive. They're like, wow, it's not just forcing us to speak in English, it's actually trying to learn our language. And they really like you for that. And then the other thing is, it's actually a really good conversation starter, because once you say it, people are like, oh, yeah, and they start to say different things to you in Dutch. And if they say something that you don't understand, then basically that's a learning opportunity, because you just learned a new phrase that you didn't know before. And the other thing is, when you say these words, when you say goedenavond, which is good evening, you will have an accent. And the fact that you have an accent when you say this is amazing, because it means that they'll be wondering, like, wow, where's this person from? Like, why do they have this accent? Why are they here in the Netherlands? And it creates curiosity about yourself, and they want to know more about you. So in a nutshell, that's basically it. So that's how I have been learning Dutch. So basically, I started with a couple of phrases, learned a couple of phrases, and just started saying these phrases out loud. And then when I came here, I started learning new words, because it was easier once I learned those first few phrases. And then the other thing is just talking to people, really, just starting conversations and seeing what people have to say. And that's how you just learn more about the culture, the people, and get better in the language. So yeah, that's basically it.